What is up, everyone? Today on Seth Leroy Hustle Adventures, I wanted to just talk about, because I got a lot of new people on the channel, I wanted to talk about why I made this decision to start a cargo van business. Now, I started this purely for freedom, and about 90% of the people that talk to me go, I want to be my own boss. No, I always say I wouldn't do it over ego. You know what I mean? Like, not just to be like, I want to own a business. But if you are passionate about just wanting to to be in charge of your future, of just like what you're going to do when you're out working, when you're not working, that's why I did it. Because I'm a hard worker, so every job I went to, it was just Seth, do this, Seth, do this. And I did it because I'm a hard worker. And then finally I had enough. Every job was the same. I'd be the hardest worker. No ego about it. Just I was. I'm a psycho. And then it just kept, and kept getting to that point where they're like, do everything, and everyone else gets to chill. And I'll be like, finally had enough. So with new people here, I wanted to talk about the background of why I did this and pretty much talk about what you'll get out of it. Like, it depends on how much you want to hustle too, because I've talked about this before. There's a lot of you can make crazy money. Like, let's say you were a single dude and you could just go out all the time, dude. That's what I tell people too. Or if you're a family man like me, I only go out 4 to 5 days, and I make, like, this week was 1,100. We've had weeks where I went out 2-3 days and made 1,200. Seriously, back in the day, if you watch the videos, and then I would just chill at home for like 4 or 5 days, and then times when we went on vacations or done things. I vlogged our last vacation, but we don't have to be home because there's no pressure. I got sick a couple times. I didn't have to worry about a boss to call. I just was sick. And I didn't, and that was something that really hit home to me. I remember being sick and I was like, why am I not wigging out? Like, I was more focused on my symptoms and, healing. And I'm like, oh yeah, because I don't have to go in anywhere. I remember that feeling. You guys know that feeling. And then too, like my daughter, if she had an issue, I just sometimes would just be like, or my wife would be like, do you just want to stay home today? We would just, that's what I love about it. And that's why, I'm on TikTok now, and there's so many people who hate, and it's weird. And I don't pay them mind, but it brings up the topic of people who are like, oh yeah, cool, you're your own boss, but you're working 80 hours a week or whatever they're saying. One guy, but what's interesting to me is it's like, those are probably most people who don't own their own business. So it's weird to me that they think that I think they probably think it's an ego thing, but it's really not. It has nothing to do with that. And I'm here to inspire people, motivate people to do this. But I'm also really, really realistic about it. Like, if you're owning your own one van, and it depends. Some people have payments, some people don't. I don't. That's why I did it. I wouldn't have done this if I had to have payments. I wouldn't have. 100%. I wouldn't want to do it. But the reason I say that is, okay, if you are into this to have that freedom, and it's not about getting rich. I mean, if you own a fleet, you're gonna do well. But at the same time, you can do really well, and it's, dude, a great job. Come on, you're listening to podcasts and driving. But you get some stressful things and you get some hard runs. But what I'm saying is, for what it is, it's amazing to me. And if you love just traveling and seeing things, like when I went to trucking school, and I was a truck driver, but when I went to trucking school, they said, don't let people fool you. You will never be home. And I talk to truckers that talk to me. When they see me at places, they'll talk to me about my van. They'll be like, oh, how do you do this? And I say, I never bring it up, but if they say, how do you get into this? I say, oh, I'm on YouTube then. So the reason I say that is, I know truckers want to do it too. I was a trucker. So, and the reason I bring that up is because it sort of has a stigma where it's like, oh, what are you doing in a van? And that's what a lot of people act like to me in my family. They're like, you're going to be in a van. Like, they were nice, but they were like, a van? I mean, when you think about the cost it takes to have I almost bought a straight truck or a bigger Sprinter van outright, but I didn't, because I knew that a lot of pallets are small. And Alan said it in one of his videos. That's what changed my theory. And I'm in a good area in Minnesota. So I'm just like, he said most things that he'd have would fit in there. And I see in his videos too still. I still watch him that a lot of things would fit in mine. So I don't know why people, but you want the extended cargo van at the smallest. But that's why, I don't get, there's still that stigma. I've heard on someone's video, he said you can't make it in a cargo van. And I was sort of like, what? I'm doing it like literally 7 months online. I mean, it's real. He literally said you cannot. So you can, but you want it to be a 2010 or higher, at least. Because even the small mom and pop dispatching companies or they want something newer in that realm, because I've talked to them. But so that's why I wanted to just give a little summary on like why I got into this, and it was for freedom and no ego. It was just to purely have that freedom. So like when people talk crap to me, I'm all about positive energy. It's mainly positive energy and love, and I love it. But I always think like, why would you care? Like I'm happy and I'm making good money. I mean, I had those. Now I learned a lesson though. When it was winter, when I was making 1,200 in 3 days, I should have just stayed out the 4 or 5 days like I like to. Could have made 15, 16 for this drought that just happened. So it's all a learning curve, but it's 100% doable. 100%. But that's why I do advise people to just save up their money at the job they hate and buy one outright. Because I don't believe that it's a good idea, in my opinion. I know people do it and they make money and they do their thing. But to start a business in debt, like to be like, oh, I got a payment. That's just how I feel. And then I have reserve money that I've saved up, busted my ass for 8 years at these jobs that treated me like a slave. But I'm grateful for them. Don't get it twisted. But because I was a felon and I had to get the worst jobs on planet Earth. Still grateful. But I saved up all the money, and then we have backup money. We've had a couple issues. We had to fix the tire valve. That was cheap. We had to fix the valve stem. We had to fix the wheel bearings got like welded. They were so bad. That was I think that was like $1,200 or something because of how bad it was. And they give me a good deal at that place, and I know they do. They're legit. And then had to fix the alternator and the battery, and that was, I can't remember how much even. But that's the thing, is all that money too we save to pay. We pay it back. We have a fund where we're like boom, 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 and we have a couple other avenues of revenue that we do. And my wife works Saturdays as a hairstylist. All that money gets put away. That's what I mean. Like that's why I got into it though, was for the freedom, and we love it. There's stressful times like with this weird drought and the gas prices, but you know what? I would rather stress about that stuff than stress about going to a job where I'm a number and not appreciated. But this video is more too for other people too, but people who are new, and I want you to be inspired because it can happen, but I just want people to do it, you know, to where there's the littlest amount of overhead on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? But you can totally do it with a loan. I'm not saying you can, because people do it all the time. But a lot of people that do that, I always hear about the payment. You know, people that I've helped, they're still making money, but they still, that payment. So I just want people to really take a thought about just saving up for it. For even if it took you a couple of years, the freight industry ain't going nowhere. Because I don't want people to fail. That's why I do this, and I do it freely, because I want people to be successful. And as this industry keeps growing, because a lot of people think it's like, oh, why would you help competition, or why would you, you know, help people make it in this? And dude, as it keeps building, it's going to be taken more and more seriously, and it's going to be more on the frontier of like, this is legit. Like companies love paying us less to do these things. You know what I mean? But anyways, everyone have a blessed day. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm just grateful that everyone's so positive for the most part. Everyone have a blessed day, and oh yeah, keep hustling.